I am doing well, Adam. I am doing well. Yeah, this is great to be here and be a part of this. Like you said, a little trial and error, kind of, just for the heck of it, to give it a whirl to see how it goes. But yeah, it
Yeah,
should be fun. Looks like a good race today.
I've made my first error. I was on mute for that first introductory comment that I made. So good start, solid start from me in the broadcast booth today.
Yeah. That's why this is all trial and error, man. It's
Yeah.
all good.
All right, I'm just going to scroll us up to the front of the field here as the races get going. So 3-hour race, mixed categories today. So the A's, the B's, the C's, the D's, all racing together. We're going to try and keep tabs on all four races in one. Hopefully see the finish of each one. But yeah, help me out, man.
It looks like we actually have somebody, John Cullen from AHDR, who is actually racing your
There you go. And
A's.
yeah, O Gordon from AHDR racing the A's as well. So good to
Oh.
see. Always love seeing a couple of AHDR jerseys.
Oh yeah, exactly. There it is. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Josh McClellan's racing. My good buddy Josh from just down the road here in Melbourne.
it's
Uh,
great. Yeah, we're
he's oh, he's gonna love this. He's got no idea.
that's
Hey Nick, I might just need you to turn down your speakers a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of feedback coming through Discord. Hopefully we're all
better.
sorted. Yeah, I think that's good. I'm going to jump in with my a good buddy Josh. So, fun fact: Josh is just back from doing the Three Peaks Challenge last weekend, which is a 235-kilometer, 4,500-meter elevation gain challenge that happens every year in the high country of Victoria, Australia. And Josh is actually one of the pace leaders. So Josh leads the 9-hour group, and so anyone who sticks with him finishes in under 9 hours, which is an incredible ride for that course. And sure enough, for the fifth or sixth straight year, he helped the 9-hour group get in there. He finished in 8:59 himself, I think. So just right on the money, perfect timing. So he's a bit of a gun, is Josh.
Oh, that's pretty impressive, to say the least.
Yeah.
Where exactly is Three Peaks at?
That happens in the high country of Victoria. So we've got a couple of famous. My 3-year-old is telling me that my talking is too loud. He doesn't approve of my commentary style. This has been good. The critics, I tell you what, you try and do something, put yourself out there, engage with Zwift community, and the critics just come after you.
Well, I'm a good critic of a good wine, so
It looks
uh,
like we've got a
let's see.
pretty elite front group that's broken away here. Nick, I'm just going to flick through the riders, but we have 21, this front peloton. Mix of A's, B's, and C's.
Okay, so they all went off this race. They all went off all at once, like a shotgun style, and
Yeah,
they're just kind of sitting in with each other. Are the A's doing more mileage or more laps than the B's and C's, or what?
no, everyone's doing 3 laps of the course today. So,
Okay.
this type of race, if you're in the lower categories, it's all about can you hold on to that front group, hold on to those A group riders, because if you can, they're going to carry you way past, a long way away from your B and C and D grade riders that you're racing against. So we've seen a few sort of savvy Bs and Cs who've been able to hit that hot start, tag onto the A's in that front group of 21. So they're looking great for a good result today. And then the leader of our D group race is currently in the second group on the road. So we've got Ree from South Korea, DB from, it might be the States, I can't see that flag is so small. And there's
Hmm.
at least one more. Hayes from Canada, Rokaruta from Japan, Cowdle from Oz, all in that second group. So kind of 2 races going on
Yeah.
now. We've got the front group of 21 and then the second group of about 18, where the D group race will be decided.
Nice, yeah, because I'm seeing right now there's three C riders in this front pack, a mix of B's and A's, of course. So that's good. That's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, it's going to keep it interesting. So we kind of got well, 3 races in one happening in this front group now, and then the D group race happening in
Break
the
right
group
over into the
behind us.
B
So we'll
category.
yeah, so we'll jump back and forth and keep an eye on them. I tell you what, I just saw some huge numbers, 10 watts a kilo going up this little rise out of the ocean tunnel. It's one of those spots. This course, it's going to be a sprint finish. We sort of know it's going to be a sprint finish, but there's so many little places where you can just lose that connection. A lot of opportunities to lose the race, and that little kick coming out the back of the ocean tunnel onto the dirt is absolutely one of them. So we're seeing some real stretch in the peloton now, and you expect that with a mix of A's, B's, and C's as well.
Yeah, this dirt section, as you come out of that tunnel, like you mentioned earlier, and ever since Zwift changed and put that rolling resistance into the dirt and kind of made
Yeah,
it part of the course, it really changed the dynamics of how you ride out of that tunnel. Before, you used to be able just to cruise right on out and onto the dirt and you had no worry. But now, I mean, it definitely, if you're not on the gas and there's like you're in a mix of, or especially a race like this, there's no way you're going to hold on. So you definitely got to kind of kick it out of that tunnel and stay with the group.
that's it. And it looks like there's been some attrition here. So we've got 12 now in our leading peloton. 12 in the leading peloton, and then a 2-second gap back to a smaller second group on the road, including Gordon from AHDR. Is sitting with him. He's doing 6.87 watts a kilo to try and tack back on to this leading group. So some big watts early from these riders.
Yeah, it looks like Josh from HDR is sitting out front there with Thorberg, Kasher, and Sato from Japan. So these guys are going to be going up this false flat. As we all know, it's about a 1% false flat as we through the marina here and cross over to this little uphill chicane, I guess you could call it. But
That's it.
yeah, this one doesn't really. You can draft this, but you can't win. But you can definitely lose it here. You got to stay on.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Gordon and one other rider actually managed to make that catch. So we've now got a lead group of 14 on the road and a 4-second gap back to a lone rider, and then 8 seconds back to the second group on the road. So it looks like that critical selection's been made. I don't think we'll see those other riders catching this front group of 14 now. Our winners from A, B, and probably C are going to come out of here, assuming that these C grade riders are legit and on Zwift Power, which we can have a look at in a little bit.
There is one rider, Jay Mack out of Australia. He is actually sitting in the front group right now, I think. Looks like he is. Yeah, he's sitting sixth right now. So there is one C rider sitting in with the A's and the B's right now.
Well, if he's got the goods, yeah, John McDonald, there he is on Zwift Power, uh, C grade rider out of Australia. So why don't we have a little play now that I can all set up to do this? Let's see if I can just have a little look on Zwift Power at what's going on there. We'll have a little
This is our
John.
little trial and error of using other screens and whatnot. Look at
Yeah,
that.
we've got it up and running. Here it goes. So yeah, in with John McDonald's profile on Zwift Power. So C grade rider out of Oz, 261 races to his name, so he knows what he's doing. And a win on Crit City back in July last year. So maybe took a little bit of a break over the summer months here in Oz, and now back on Zwift. Looks like he's got a history as a B grade rider and a very successful C grade rider actually. So obviously
That's
has the race smarts, has the knowledge, knows how to win and stick in with these faster riders. So he's done a great job. If he can hold on here, then the C grade race is going to be all his.
that's great. Yeah, if you take too much of a break, I've noticed, man, you will fall off and you got to kind of earn and claw your way back, right? And but we've seen that with a lot of A riders who kind of sit at the bottom of that 4.1, 4.2 the A category, and then they take like a month off, and then they race. Then they kind of settle back into the Bs, and they race there. And the B group is where it's really at, right, Adam?
Absolutely. So much more fun in the Bs. I've spent a little bit of time in the A's, and A goes from 4 watts per kilo up to just whatever you can do kind of within the limits of human performance. So it covers some pretty mean ground. I like racing in the Bs where it's a little bit more contained, and I kind of fluctuate. I hover near that 4 watts a kilo. So there's it's definitely a lot more fun for me being a high B than a low A. That's not a lot of fun on the racetrack, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, anybody is definitely can appreciate that. Sitting up there at 4.45, it's definitely nothing sustained. That's for sure. I think my personal 5 minute is 4.2. I think that's my personal best. So it's about my max, and that's it. So
Yes, I'm just
not a
having a
whole
look.
lot going on here with all these 83 kilos.
I'm just having a look on Zwift Power. So we've got 12 Zwift Power riders in this front group. 1C, Johnny Mack from Oz, which we've talked about. We've got 4B riders that are contesting the B race at the moment, and 6As, so 7As, sorry. So going to be interesting. B grade is definitely up for grabs, and A, obviously, we'll be cheering on Josh from AHDR.
Oh, looks like Gordon's going for the sprint here. What's he got going on? We already did. I'm all late. I was looking at my Zwift and looking at the live feed, so that's an error on my part here on the live stream. I wasn't watching Zwift. I was watching our live stream on Facebook. So that is a rookie move right there, to say the least, right?
That's
So
it. You're going to get
uh,
a delay through there for sure.
yeah, note to self: do not watch the live stream. Watch live Zwift. Oh, too funny. But
All right,
I'm
we
gonna
got some.
blame the wine for that one.
Yeah, oh yeah. Hey, we got some action here at the front. We've got Kerr from the Bees just launch an 8 watt per kilo attack into the S's up that little rise. Looks like they're going to try and break this up and drop a couple of the other Bs through the S's. So big stretch going on.
Yeah, that's Kerr, right? Is that who
Yeah,
you were calling out?
it.
Yeah, Kerr is definitely sitting there at the high fours. Actually, that's great. We definitely got some separation. Got about 2 second gap between the two riders out up front right now. Looks like the chase is on, coming back. About a good group of 7 or 8 on that. So we'll see how that plays out. See if it holds. I mean, that's a big risk this early in the race, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Still a long way to go. That I mean, it looked like it almost was going to work. That group was really strung out, but that peloton now, there's other 12 riders have come back together. I think they're going to band together here and bring this back. And there's a lot of really good A's in that group as well. So I think really, nice little move from
Mm.
Kerr. Maybe you can pop a couple of the Bs off the back and just be racing one or two instead of a four-man field. So worth a shot. Made for some fun
Yeah,
racing.
well, there's the catch. Yeah, well, there's the catch by the remainder of that front peloton. So good on you, Kerr, for trying to kick it away there for sure.
Yeah, it was a great attack, and
I
again,
wouldn't have done it.
182 beats
So
per minute, so definitely feeling it and going in hard there, which is great.
yeah.
Hey, so I'm
Hey,
just
let's
jumping.
take a look at the bikes here. We got quite a selection of bikes here. We got the 858 disc. We got a 808 Super 9. We got some Trons. We got some open wheel 808s, and like on a course like this, and you're well experienced. Like, what do you think? What's your go-to poison for a race like this today?
You know me, I can't get away from the Tron bike. It's just it's kind of
Magic.
become a yeah. It it's in almost all situations it's going to be as quick or quicker than just about any other thing you can put on. I still feel weird about racing with a disc when I'm not in a time trial, but us racers we're superficial beings, so got to look right.
Mhm. Yeah, I would tend to agree. I mean, I think for myself, I have my pink Tron. It does it all.
Very
I
durable
think it's a
too.
mental thing. I think there's some advantages on some courses where a lighter bike, or like a tarmac or Imanda or a Giant, serves its purpose, and with lower deep section wheels or something. But I just can't get past it either when I have a Tron. It just is what it is. So
Yeah, so this race is taking shape here, Nick. So I just had a look on Zwift Power Live. Our D groupers, who are back a couple of groups on the road, we've actually got one rider on Zwift Power who's managed to break away and in a nice little group there. So DB out of the States, he can hold on. He's going to be the winner out of the D group riders. And we know J Mac here in the C's is looking good and has definitely gapped the rest of the C group field. So Still plenty of interest in the B graders and the A graders, but a couple of really good rides from JMac and DB in the C's and the D's. If they can hold this, they're going to be taking home the Gold Cup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is true. Where is our D? So it's DB, you said in the front here with Hayes.
Yeah, so I just had a look on Zwift Power. I can't see Hayes or the other D grade rider on there. So they haven't registered
Yeah.
on zwiftpower.com, so they're not going to appear in the official results. So
Okay.
it's all up to DB. It's his race to lose at this point.
Hmm. Yeah, because there's 3 other Ds racing with him right now. There's DB, Hayes, and Rokurado. M. Roku from Japan
Yeah.
is also here as well. So
Yeah, that could be a
let's get
nice little party at the line. We'll jump back in with them towards the finish and see how they go.
sounds good.
So we've got a nice little. It seems like we're settled in now. This 14 rider front pack where the A's and the B's are racing. You feel like a little experiment, Nick? Shall we go and do a bit of a segment on would you have won that race?
Sure.
Let's give this a go. This is purely experimental. I haven't actually literally set this up 5 minutes before going live.
Yeah, why not?
We're going to jump over to Nick's Crit City race. So give us a little bit of background, Nick. Give us some context. I've got the video about 0.8 miles from the finish. So coming up to the cobbles on lap number 8. So tell us how did we get to this point and how were you going when you got here?
So where are we at here? Point A. Oh, leading into the last cobble section through the banner, the sprint banner.
Yep.
I have a feeling they're going to kick here.
Yeah,
So
about to get onto the cobbles, that last climb.
So,
yep. So this was actually my very first crit that I've done on Zwift, and sitting in, I don't want to say sitting in the back, but obviously definitely doing a lot of work. My strategy through this was really to kind of push it a little bit. I was actually feeling really good. And I didn't have the right power up. I didn't have a steamroller or anything like that. And I wanted to hold on to my draft as long as I could and save it. So definitely had to dig deep into the well here and push over these cobbles. But I knew it was important in case somebody just decided to jump off. Just to kind of hang off in the back, not do too much crazy work, but just make sure I maintain. And I think we're going to go ahead and see as we get into this flat section, it kind of pitches down and then it goes flat. There's a little bit of starts to stretch out. And as we were starting to stretch, this is where everybody's using their ghost. There was somebody on the left there. He ghosted. I saw that, came down here, made the right-hand bend downhill, and the burrito went on me. So I had to push past that, kicked it. I actually stopped pedaling. If you look at my cadence, it'll go to 0 here real quick. Regrouped myself, and there was quite a bit of a gap there. I thought a 1 second gap, and I was just like, this is it. I got to do it. So I just kind of put my head down and just started digging deep. Had a little bit of my car draft left, and it worked. Got back to the pack, and I was like, there's the banner. It's go time. And just put my head down and just started pumping it out. And I actually just tweaked it out and was able to come up second. So that was a lot of fun, to say the least.
It was awesome. It was awesome to watch back. I mean, good on you for streaming it and recording it, and that was good entertainment. I've actually realized Whiskey Peddler, who you unfortunately just got pipped by on the line there. I've raced him a number of times. So yeah, really experienced solid Zwifter. So you got beaten by some quality there for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I just figured they're brand new, just like myself. So I'm just like, okay, I'm here. This sounds cool.
All right, so I'm going to roll this back now. I'm going to give
but
you.
the one thing, the one interesting thing that I noticed is that, like, if you look at everybody's average watt per kilogram, like mine's 3.7, and everybody else was in the high or the 4s, and that's for me, that's a smart race in my opinion.
Absolutely, I know you've done well. Definitely raced efficiently to get to that point, and had a nice little kick. You had the kick this time. We watched a race the after party
Did have the kick
during the week, and there was no kick. You were absolutely dragged kicking and screaming to the finish line there. I think those guys went too hard, but here you were definitely in the mix. And being a B grade field instead of trying to race the A's in the after party, of course, is a big difference.
Oh, absolutely, huge.
I've offered very generously here to give you some armchair feedback on how you finished this race and would you have won it or not. So I have prepped you for what you're about to hear, but I think this is always going to be hard to hear. You know, could I have won it? Couldn't I? So you're ready for that, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's great. Yeah, go for it.
Good stuff. So
Give it to me, boss.
We've got you coming up to the cobbles now. You know, I thought this was awesome the way that you were saying on the live stream in your commentary that you were preempting, okay, maybe there's going to be an attack, maybe there's going to be a surge here, I've got to be ready. And so you got yourself into a great spot at the front. And then, you know, what was really good was you didn't sit on the front and cop the wind. You just were there in case there was an attack, and there wasn't. So you just, you know, drop back in the draft, saved your legs. So that was good. Up to that point, things were going really, really well. And then I'm just going to pause. We sort of come around the corner here, down onto the descent, and here's where things start to get a little bit tricky. So stop here, 0.4 miles to go. You can see now there's a couple of meters that have opened up. And I think to me, this was the first critical point. I got 3. This is number 1. We're at this point. As I was watching it, I was thinking the pink rider is the wheel that you want to be on. And we can see some power ups starting to fly as well. So we kind of know that things are kicking up. And as we sort of roll it forward.
And the dirt rider on my left, he's going to ghost out here. You'll see.
Yeah, that makes it tricky too. But it's hard to know. And I sort of pause it here too. This is actually doubly critical point. I mean, it's always hard when you're racing to kind of see the stretch of the field. And watching the replay, actually, I didn't even realize it was only when they went around this corner you can see just how far these guys have stretched out the field. And going downhill, especially, you just can't really see those gaps opening up. But when they come around the corner, you really realize that, hang on, we've lost some ground here. And then this was the other critical point. So as I've paused it, the rider in front of you has just hit their burrito power up. And as we run this a little bit forwards, obviously this takes out your drafting ability right when you've got a drafting boost. So this was just kind of a cruel stroke of luck. I mean, that rider wasn't going to benefit having the burrito power up themselves, but they could certainly mess up someone's race, and they definitely messed up yours. So we can see here that you're stuck next to this rider, no draft, while the front of the race is just taking off and opening up, you know, a 5+ bike length lead on you through this critical section. So even though you're putting out, you know, huge watts here, you're in the red. Other guys are still around 6.5 watts per kilo or less, and they're getting away from you. So that was just tough luck. I think there's nothing you can do about that. Just the luck of the game, and obviously the power ups throw that in the mix. So just some really, really bad luck, but you do really well here to, you know, to kick it and make up that ground anyway.
Oh, that's absolutely right. No, that's spot on. That's good. I appreciate that, and didn't realize that how effective that burrito power up could actually be. But I don't think he even made it back. The guy who used the burrito, because he's on the gas right there at 7. Yeah, he's on the gas right now too, trying to make it back. But I don't think he ever did.
No, he's gone. He's so unfortunately he took you out, and that was the end of his race as well. And then this is the last little spot I wanted to talk about. Coming up to this hairpin, you kind of mentioned it when we were rolling through it in real time. So sort of, it's a tricky finish because the finish line's a lot closer than you think. And I remember watching it, I sort of seen you come through the rollers at sort of 650, 700 watts, and was really kind of hoping that you'd be able to hold that right all the way through to the finish, which might be asking a bit much. I mean, you're already at 183 beats per minute. You've had to launch early, you've had to close gaps, overcome the burrito, you know, losing all draft. So you've worked pretty freaking hard up to this point in the race. But I definitely did notice that as we sort of round hairpin here, sort of just as you're latching on, that draft is running out, you sort of back down to that 400 watts instead of the 650, 700 you were putting out before. So I don't know. That one's tricky for me. You know, you're in the draft, still moving up through the field. You know, we see you kick it all the way back up to 700+ watts through to the finish and sort of just get pipped on the line here. So yeah, if you'd been able to hold that power all the way through the hairpin to the finish, could you have made up that gap? maybe not.
Mm.
Yeah, tough spot.
Well, it's actually a good point, right? Because I made it back to the pack with the last little bit of my draft power up, and that carried me through. And I backed off almost to like to get a breather, just to kind of reset and then go. But I think I actually, you're probably right. I probably should have just kept on it and not even, because I would have just went right through. Even if I faded at the end, I would have had enough momentum through the small group to kind of carry it out anyway.
Yeah, it's a
So
it's a tough one to judge. I'm back in with the Zwift guys now, watching the race, and we'll catch up on where they're at now. But yeah, I think my conclusion from that whole thing was, could you won the race? Actually, yeah, I think you probably did. I think you had enough power there. You held it for so long chasing, and if it wasn't for that burrito and you latched onto the back of that field earlier, I think you probably would have flown all the way through and taken the win there. So I think you just got incredibly unlucky with that wrong power up at the wrong time, and you just happened to be in the wrong spot. And unfortunately, that rider just has taken you out from the back.
yeah, well, that's bike racing, right?
It's Zwift bike racing for
and
sure.
and Zwift bike racing on top of that with all these different little power ups and whatnot. Kind of
Yeah.
crazy. So
Yeah, so we're back in with the 3R race now, and looks like we've had some attrition through lap number 2. So we're coming through the S's, coming up to the end of lap number 2 here, and our front group of 14 is now just 8. So we've had some, oh no, 10, sorry. So we've had a little bit of attrition there, some riders off the back. I'm going to jump in on Zwift Power Live while we're watching this, see where we're at.
sure.
So it looks like we've lost our C grade rider. Maybe a technical issue or something there. I don't even see him on the riders list anymore. So the C grade race is now well and truly back up for grabs. We'll have to jump in and see who's in contention there. We've still got our 4 B grade riders, Kurt, Kunha, Grierson, and SMZ from Japan. And we've got 6 A graders left. So we've lost one. I don't know who that was, but we've still got our 2 AHDR riders in amongst it, Josh McClellan and Owen Gordon, and 4 other A's that are going to be vying for this 3R race title today.
Very cool. He's definitely doing well. Yeah, D Pilot is it looks like our C grade lead out right now. So
Yeah, Dennis Pilot. He's
is it
managed
Dennis?
to,
Okay.
yeah, just having a look on Zwift Power. So he's sitting in that, yeah, around about that second group on the road. We might just, as these guys come through, finish their second of 3 laps, we'll just flick back through the field and we'll see if we can sit in with him. But he's found a little group of 4 just behind that main group. He does have one other C grade rider with him, so probably doesn't know. Actually, no, there's a gap there. So he's got some B grade company with him. So if he can hold those 3 B graders through to the end, with whatever's happened while we were distracted looking at your racing performances, Mr. Ludwig, he'll take it out.
What's that?
So he'll take out the C grade race if he can just hold on to this little group of 3 other B grade
yes.
riders.
Yes, no, absolutely. So he said it looks like is it Josh?
Yeah.
And
Josh and Owen.
okay, Gordo.
Yeah, you can go with Gordo. I haven't met him before, so I don't know what he prefers. Maybe he does like Gordo.
That's funny.
I'm sure he'd be happy to be on camera. Have a replay to go back and watch.
Yes, exactly.
Can't wait to surprise Josh with the news that we were watching him and commentating.
That's cool. Did you actually hit him up?
No, not yet. I should. I'll send him a little message and let him know that we're watching. So he's got to put in a good show.
Yeah, no pressure, Josh.
Yeah.
Too funny.
What's next for you on the racing calendar? Nick, you've had your first taste of Crit City. You landed a podium. So what's next?
I probably should not focus on racing at all. And to be honest, I mean, I really shouldn't. I should just start just focusing on ZRL season 3, and just start building up for that again. Really, I mean, last season being my first season, joining the team there, and had a great time, learned a lot, and I think season 3 is definitely time to improve upon what I did in season 2. So I think I'll just hang out and lead the rides that I normally lead on Tuesday nights and Wednesday evenings and Saturdays, and then just kind of just do some interval training here and there. But I don't know if I might pick up a race here and there, but nothing that's pressing. I'll just wait until season 3 of ZRL. So, how about yourself?
Yeah, well, I've never been particularly good at the whole training thing. I have a tendency to use racing as training. Probably contrary to the advice of anyone who knows anything about coaching and fitness, but it's just so much fun. I struggle to do intervals, but I'm happy to go, chase some wheels up a climb or go for a sprint finish or something like that. So, the AHDR team are having some fun. We're racing a few different series. So we're doing the 3R endurance series at the moment on a Sunday morning or Saturday night over in the UK. We've got the Ride Without Borders series happening as well, and a few of us are doing the TFC Mad Monday on a Tuesday morning over here in Oz. So plenty
Oh,
on.
I am doing the TFC Mad Monday. I am doing that.
Nice. Yeah, it's a fun little mid
That's right.
ZRL season break. Keep us on our toes and keep us sharp.
Yeah, well, right before ZRL starts, I'm going to be skiing in California for 3 or 4 days. So I'm not going to be on the bike at all. Me and my son and I are going to be out there visiting family and whatnot. So hopefully the skiing doesn't take away my bike fitness. I don't think it will, but so.
Hey, so while we've been chatting, I did get a message to Josh, and he flicked a little note back. So there's been some team discussion here between him and Owen, and
Nice.
so Josh has offered to kind of go early and sacrifice himself so that Owen can just sit in while the others chase and save his legs. Everyone else is burning matches, and give Owen the best chance of taking out the race today. So we're seeing a big surge from Josh here. He's putting the hurt on these guys, softening them up. And yeah, we might see a big finish and a big 1-2 finish from the AHDR group.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I just saw there Josh was definitely putting in some big numbers, trying to get everybody to do some work. Now he's on the back, just getting a little recovery as we head over this dirt bridge section going into the marina, actually going into the wind farm, and then we head over to the marina. Um, but yeah, there he is just sitting, and I see Owen sitting in the back as well. So yeah, good on them teaming up and using that team strategy to play to their advantage. It's great.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just if that was the actual strategy there or that was just for TV. I'm going to ask Josh that because he does like
uh,
he doesn't
I was probably
mind.
for TV.
Yeah, he doesn't mind a little cheeky attack. I know he knows that I like to just sit in and sprint, and so if I have a race with Josh, you can guarantee that he will just be launching off the front. He's got some amazing aerobic an amazing aerobic engine there powering that bike. So he just let me know that was just for TV. Once he knew we were watching, he had to go and put in a bit of a dig. So just a lazy, 6.5 watts per kilo off the front just to spice things up for the commentary box. So thank you, Josh. We enjoyed it.
Well, here's a slice of cake for you, Josh. Good job. Yeah, that's awesome. I know it's in the afternoon there, but I feel a little lonely just drinking my wine by myself. We got to have wine in the booth.
Yeah, well, I guess it's Sunday afternoon here. I could have started early. It's what coming up on 3 p.m. That's not too early in the day,
Oh,
surely.
2 p.m. Dude, that's like 6 o'clock at night. That's perfect.
You'd be half a bottle of red down by now.
Yeah, I mean, here in the States, I mean, the NFL or the football, I mean, football starts at 10 a.m. So we're already beers deep at 10 a.m. So I don't know about that. So
So I'm
2
actually,
p.m. That's plenty of time.
yeah. So you big NFL fan, Nick? I'm actually, despite being an Aussie, I love
Hmm.
me some NFL.
Do you really?
Too.
I'm not a big NFL fan to say specifically. I actually love college football. I think college football is actually I don't know. Kids are out there. There's some heart. There's some passion, and I don't know. The tone of the game is differently, and they play for different reasons. They're trying. They're striving to get to that next level. And so it's like they're just fighting to be better every single game, and you can see the slow progression. I mean, don't get me wrong, the pros are phenomenal to see. I mean, to see Tom Brady play and win the Super Bowl, his seventh or sixth or seventh championship now. I mean, that's phenomenal, right? I mean, that's something
Yeah.
that I don't know if we'll ever see again, but that's their job. That's what they're paid to do, I mean, so these kids are doing it pure out of their own heart, their own passion for the game. And, it's like young riders who come up through the ranks too, right? It's like when you go to your local race and you see these young kids, I mean, they're just racing because they love the sport. I think I like that kind of esprit de corps type mentality. So,
Nice. Yeah, the whole college football scene I mean, I've got some other American friends and they love it and they're so into it. I think it doesn't really make sense to the Australians because we just don't have anything equivalent to that in our like our football, our Australian rules football. It's really just that main, there's suburban leagues and things like that, but that, there's no parallel, no comparison to the college football. It's huge. I can't believe the sort of the crowds that they get and the interest that they get. It's amazing.
right. So how does rugby work? Do kids just come out of the scene, or is that played at the junior or at the college level too? I would imagine at the college level, or do they just start playing pro?
No, I mean they have there's grassroots
Okay.
networks through both the Australian rules football and the rugby, different games. Um, and but yeah, it's really only that top flight competition that gets like the TV time and the big crowds and things like that. So
Right.
they work their way up through, through the junior leagues. There's like an under 18s competition, and then the sort of the reserves and the support teams for the top league, the AFL and the NFL. Sorry, the NRL. And but yeah, nothing like college football. It's just yeah, it just doesn't make sense to Australians. I think it's just completely unlike anything that we've ever seen.
That's cool. Very cool. Well, we're coming up into the Italian Village here, where the next sprint finish is. So let's see how this all plays out. Josh is up front. Looks like Josh got a little bit of recovery there. I saw he was holding. He was actually sub 2 watts per kilogram down that hill there. So maybe he's saving it for this last little hill to kick it up and over.
Yeah, I think things are going to start to get really interesting real soon. So we go over this bridge, and then you've got this nasty little kicker, and then you've got the rollers.
Hmm.
So if you can put a gap into the field through that first hill, then it's really hard to make up ground. Even though it's a sort of downhill rollers through the S's, you can put your opposition in a world of hurt, especially with a small field like this. It's not hard for gaps to open up. So we might see
Oh,
some
absolutely.
fireworks here. We've got a mix of A's and B's going for the win. Obviously, the B's racing for their own cat win as well. So expecting this to be a barnstorming finish.
Yeah, it looks like Mr. There's a B rider here. It says U17. I actually wonder if he's actually under 17 years old, and that's how if he really is. If he is, kudos to you, man. Out there
Yeah,
with the guys out there, and you're holding your own. Good job. Keep it up, buddy.
yeah.
You're one of two Bs out there.
Yeah. Well, Xavier Bird in the A's is actually 13 years old, apparently.
Team.
13 years old.
Wow. So here, this is that kicker that we were talking about. 7.7, 7.9. Josh is out on front. Some big numbers. 13-year-old, 8.3, 8.8 watts per kilogram to hold the draft that they come over the crest of this little kicker here as we go into the S's. Yeah, I'll let you take it from here there, Adam, and call it from here, buddy.
Yeah, some huge watts there. I mean, it looks like everyone's managed to stick on here. Got a little bit of stretch, but I think we're coming back together. Kerr, who we saw attack really hard through the S's on lap number 1, just drifting off the back a little bit here. We have the A's at the front of the field. SMZ out of Japan, the best of the Bs at the moment, but a pretty tightly bunched group there. With Kerr just hanging off the back, I don't know if he's going to make it back on, Nick. I think this could be the end of Kerr's race. That surge over the kicker might just be the end of that.
No, well, I see Kerr is right there. Josh is right there.
I
I
picked
mean,
the wrong one. Sorry, yeah, Grierson. Grierson's the B off the back, so we're down
Oh,
to
okay,
2.
recent. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I think we're down to 3 in the Bs. And still got our A group field here. Coming through these last couple little rises, and then we'll do that long descent. This is a great finish. I love this one. You know, down the hill, you pick up crazy speed, and then it really does invite the long attack. If you want to make the most of that momentum off that downhill, you can have a crack there. And here goes Josh. This is Josh's long attack. He promised us he'd do this to
There
set
goes
up Owen.
Owen.
Yeah, well, Owen is playing the team role here. I think Owen just needs to hold back just a little bit. Oh, they're going for the 1-2. We're going for the 2-man
Oh, they are.
long-range
I
attack.
saw 10 watts per kilogram.
Yeah, Komizawa coming back at 11. Owen kicks it up to 8, joins Josh at the front, kicks over the top. We've got a gap here. They're running away with it. Josh has run out of legs, but he's done the setup for Owen. He's come over the top. 10 watts per kilo, 9 watts per kilo. Coming down, we're going to see the sign soon. We'll be inside 300 here. Got a brilliant gap. Back to the field. Kasha sets off in pursuit. We've got
9495.
yeah, Glass Forge for the Bs. This looks like our B grade winner is going to come out of this Glass Forge, and SMZ not far behind. Who's going to get there? Gordon holding on. Kasha closing, chasing. He's not going to get there. Owen Gordon's going to win the A's, and Glass Forge just going to hold on to the Bs with Kerr closing quickly at 9.5 watts per kilo, but he doesn't quite get there. Amazing work from the AHDR guys with the 1-2 punch, and Owen taking out the A grade race. That was awesome.
That was really cool. That was great teamwork, good tactics there as they came out of the Essex, right on that downhill, and just this like, let's go, buddy. Gave him that little twitch of the arm on the left-hand side, and just boom, gone. That was great.
Yeah, that's it. It wasn't what I was expecting. I tell you what, that I was expecting that Owen might just sit in there for a little bit longer, but no, he was having none of it. He thought, this is my time. I'm going to go. I'm going to catch that wheel from Josh, and I'm just going to use that to take me all the way to the finish. And sure enough, he kicked over the top brilliantly and was able to hold off the chasing group.
So I'm sitting here still in the pin. Should I go?
I'm going to try. Yeah, man, you could still, you get a result. I don't think you get any points. Yeah, no ranking points for you on Zwift Power for this one, but you might be able to get on there.
Yeah, that's
so I've just flicked back to our C grade leader, Pilot. So he has managed to hold on to that group of himself and 3 Bs, and they're nicely a minute clear of the next closest C. So we'll sit in with him and watch him. All he's got to do now is just enjoy a little victory lap. He can almost put his arms in the air as he goes over the line here. Show the sponsors some love, make sure the jersey's zipped up, and just cruise in for a victory through the S's. That's a nice position to be in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's funny. Zip up the jersey and make sure the sponsors are happy.
Well,
that reminds me of Chris McCormick in Hawaii. I'm a tri-geek by nature, but came through the finishing chute. I mean, he put in a hell of a race, and he had sponges in his jersey. His jersey was completely zipped down, and the next year, the next time he came through the finisher line, he literally stopped, zipped up his jersey, and made sure that everything was out in front. So that's all there. Yeah,
we can see Josh has just sent me a message. He knew he was on the screen. He was doing it for the cameras and did it well. So that's brilliant stuff.
Very, very cool. sweet, man. I would say that's a success, huh?
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll watch it back. Well, hopefully the scene changes and the video and the audio all worked. It's hard to know when you're just clicking between things and watching levels and things, hoping for the best. So we'll jump on the video replay and check it out. But AHDR, Tim Bacon Searle should be happy with the screen time here. Josh and Owen putting on an absolute show. We had no idea they were even racing. We just picked a race, have some fun with, and hang out, talk Zwift because we love it. We love racing, and then sure enough, we got to see an amazing AHDR double act and got the result in the A grade today.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's always a pleasure being here with you and talking with you. So no, it's great. It is 10 o'clock here in beautiful Minnesota. So I'm gonna wind down and get ready to roll to bed. To be honest with you,
Yep. Well,
I know that's not a great sign off, but man, that's all I got, dude.
well, that's all that these riders have got to. Pilot's going to sit out of the sprint. He's just going to roll over, enjoy his C grade victory. The 3Bs went off and had a little bit of a fun little sprint to finish their race. So well done to all of our racers today. That was great fun, great action, lighting it up from the AHDR boys. And hope you enjoyed the commentary wherever you are, watching live or watching on the replay. And yeah, we'll be back again next time we find the opportunity. This is good fun. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
See you later.